It is time for the All-Star break. The Mets have officially reached the halfway point in the season. We have special guest James Baega with us again today. We're going to talk about it right now on episode 16 of the Shea Less podcast. Today we enter the All-Star break at a record of 55-42. Unfortunately, we stumbled a little bit that last game there, giving up the walk-off to Kansas City, putting us in second place and a half game out of first place. So just quickly, let's go around the horn here a little bit. James, we'll start with you. Give us how you feel at the first half of the season, and then we'll talk a little bit about the All-Stars that are representing the Mets down in Atlanta.
Yeah. There's obviously a lot of positives from the start to now. There's a mix of inconsistency going on. Obviously, offense and the bullpen have stumbled this past month plus. But from what we see from the pitching, man, I think the pitching has been great. I just got to stay healthy. I feel like that's all. Offensively, I feel like there's so much more that can be done with us offensively as far as like production. I feel like this lineup is so much better than what it's shown up to this point in the season. We've seen so many games where they look like they just don't know what they're doing, especially with runners in scoring position. I hope that can change in the second half. I don't know if that's an addition to the team or whether that's a subtraction that, I feel I've talked about off the pod. But
runners in scoring position, Soto's the number one.
Runners in scoring position have been rough.
He's got to hit. He has no choice. He's got to get better in the second half.
I've mentioned to you, Vin, there's been games where you've seen our first four in the lineup have to do all the work, and the bottom half just disappears and just doesn't show up at all. You're not going to be consistent down the stretch if you're going to have to rely on those top four. Obviously, those are your best players. I'm talking about Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. You can't always rely on those guys offensively to win you games. You got to get production out of that bottom half.
Well, there's no way they start the second half with Alvarez is going to be back.
Yeah, Alvarez is going to be back. That's another issue. Obviously, we know what I feel about the hitting coach situation. I feel like that's shown a lot when it comes to Alvarez, especially when he's a 22-year-old kid at the time and he hits, or however old he was, and he hits 30 homers and your hitting coach tells you sucked. I feel like that's a problem.
No, I definitely agree. And one thing that we talk about ad nauseum, the three of us with Brady, one of the biggest things that we knew coming into the season was the depth in what we had at starting pitching. And I think that we have the most starts from different starting pitching going into the All-Star break. I think they mentioned it last night or the other day on SNY. I think we started 35 or 36 different pitchers.
I think that was just pitchers in general.
Pitchers in general. Right.
That's a lot.
They've used 37
That's what I mentioned.
Different pitchers, which is crazy for
That's what I mentioned, bro. As long as this pitching staff is healthy, dude, they're going to be good. Like, it's just a matter of health.
I'm not worried about the starting pitching. Obviously, I think, James, you and I spoke that I think that it's necessary that we add one more arm going into the second half of the season.
Starters wise, we need a few bullpen guys, but starting wise, I think one arm is good enough, personally.
Right.
Well, and then, man, Minaya, he gave us what he could do yesterday, and we all know what he could do. Mm-hmm. But him and Senga have got to stay healthy.
Yeah. That's it.
100%.
Because him, Senga, and Peterson is a very good top three going into a playoff series.
That's
those guys are going to give you a chance to win every time they're out there.
It's exactly what me and Lou were talking about earlier. I feel as if what you have when you have Minaya, Sanger, and Peterson as your 1, 2, 3, I think you add a guy that could either start a game one or can pitch in the middle of those guys, I think is perfect. Because I feel like with Clay Holmes, what we've seen from him, that he's going to play the role of like a 2015 Bartolo or last year with David Peterson. You're going to have a guy come in, he's going to pitch, however many innings, and you're going to go with Holmes for 3, 4, 5 innings, every fifth. I don't want to say fifth day because it's the playoffs, but you get the point. Clay Holmes is going to be your long man, I think, in the playoffs. And I think that's what best suits him other than starting when it comes to that.
And I'm perfectly fine with that, especially coming over. He has the bullpen experience coming over from the Yankees. He has the ability to pitch out of the pen. And hopefully he has the mindset of whatever helps the team win. And I think he's that type of guy. Kevin says we're back. Thank you. Kevin's going to be our moderator in the chat. Shout out to Kevin.
Kevin loves one word.
Kevin, thanks for the 50 gifted.
Shout out to Kevin for the 50 gifted. No, so like I said, I think that Clay Holmes comes with the mindset of knowing that it's going to be what's best for the team to win, especially in the playoffs. And I think that that's, a leadership, role that I think he's going to play. But what I wanted to talk about before we got cut off was I think that the biggest question mark we have right now going into the All-Star break is who's going to be our long-term center fielder moving forward, whether that's going to be one of the young kids or we're going to have to go out and make a trade. And I didn't want to touch too much on the trade market today. We're going to talk all about that in the next episode as we get closer to the trade deadline. But center field is the biggest need that I think that, we have. One, to lengthen the lineup, because 5 through 9 has been tough to watch, and then also to solidify the defense up the middle. So let's just touch upon center field. What route do you want them to take in terms of center field, and then we'll move on to the All-Stars.
Luis Robert. I'll make it short and sweet. I want Luis Robert. I don't think he's touched even close to his potential in Chicago. And he gives you a stolen base threat. He gives you a great defensive center fielder, and he's got pop. So I'll make my answer quick. Go get me Lou Bob.
I would absolutely love Lou Bob. And I know a lot of people don't because a lot of people are blind from, what he's been doing. But trust me, there's so much to unlock there. And just the raw talent, you put him around a team like this where he's not going to be the best player on the team. And we've seen what he can do when he was the best player on a playoff team. So I just think as long as he's healthy, there's so much there to unlock. As far as like what we've seen from center field, like in-house, up to this point, I mean, other defensively, Tyrone Taylor is amazing. Like we can say that straight up. Like he is an amazing defensive center fielder. He does not hit as much as we like or at all really, but that's what I think he is. He's a fourth outfielder, and he's going to be a great fourth outfielder when we need him down the stretch. And
which I'm fine with.
Yeah, which I am completely fine with too. I love Taylor. Two main guys with Drew Gilbert in the minor leagues. There's two main guys being Jet Williams and Carson Bench that can play center field long term. Especially Jet Williams, who should be up hopefully next season. As far as the 2024 Mets, you can go out and get a guy like Buxton, who's to me,
I don't want to give up what they're going to ask for him.
That's the thing. You got to see what you're going to give up. The thing though with him is you have to take on his contract. So you got to hope that, you're taking on the money that you're not going to have to give up much, but we'll see what they ask for. I just think he's the guy to me. He's my number one offensive target. I think that changes the whole perception of our team and our lineup.
Well, I think like you said, Lou, and you made a good point when you said center field has to be the biggest need. I mean, when you look realistically, they're going to give Alvarez another shot. So catcher's locked up. First base is locked up. Shortstop's locked up. Third base, left field, right field, second base, they're going to give to McNeil. So, I mean, we know how Stearns operates, and it's got to be center field. So you got to do something to upgrade there.
I think the way Stearns operates, I think Lou Bob makes the most sense personally. But
one of the most interesting things that we've seen about Lou Bob, we looked up today his contract moving forward. This is the last year that he's actually under team control. And then the next 2 years, he has a team option. So it's not even a player option, it's a team option. So if we do make the trade for him, one, it's a rental, so it's not going to cost us a lot in the trade. Two, if we do want to keep him, his contract is very favorable for us, especially with the big contract we gave out with Soto and Lindor, and then hopefully we sign Pete long term. Lou Bob just fits perfect. I think he'll be a great addition, for the second half. And when I think of Lou Bob, I can't help but think of from Little Big League when the guy doesn't want to play on the team because he's not getting what he wants.
Yeah.
And then it's like he's playing to get traded. Like, if we really think that Lou Bob is going to hit 150, 160 his whole career, I mean, yes, there's signs that he struggles with the curveball, but we've seen when he's excited.
Everybody struggles with the curveball.
It's fixable, right, dude, especially if you're going to go to a new organization. It's fixable.
Right. And we've seen when Lou Bob is motivated and when he has a team around him like he had, a couple of years ago, when we thought the White Sox were going to be, a very good team with that deep lineup. He hit 38 to 40 home runs, and he was on his way, to getting MVP votes. So I think that, right. I think that a motivated Lou Bob would be something that would be a great addition to this team. But I didn't want to talk too much about the trade deadline because I want to highlight our team and our All-Stars that we have representing our Mets down in Atlanta. So the captain, Lindor, Big Pete, Diaz, and Peterson are all down in Atlanta representing the Mets down there. I just watched a couple interviews that they did, from the red carpet and from the pregame show for the Home Run Derby tonight. I'm extremely happy, James. I know we all are, that finally the fans did the right thing and voted in, our boy Lindor. It's been a long time overdue. The last couple of years, he's absolutely been snubbed both offensively and defensively. So who are you looking forward to seeing the most represent the Mets in the All-Star game?
I mean, yeah, it has to be Lindor. That he's starting. He's the only starter of the four. And like you said, it's the first time he's finally here as a Met, and he can represent the New York Mets in the All-Star game starting at shortstop. That's big. just for the other guys, Pete it's been like a consistent, type thing. Pete's in the All-Star game for the 5th time. That's when you think about it, being a rookie in 2019 and being a 5-time All-Star, that's impressive. That's really impressive. And Pete's shown how good he is year in and year out. Diaz, Diaz was one of our biggest worries going into the season. We talked about it in the preseason show, how worried we were about Diaz. But we thought the bullpen was going to be just good in general, which it has. But Diaz has been arguably the best closer in baseball or the NL, and he's shown, when he's on and when he's right, like he's almost unhittable. So hopefully we can,
Yeah, he's been lights out this year.
yeah, hopefully he continues. And huge congrats to David Peterson. We've seen so many changes with the pitching because pitching is good job, Ben. Because pitching, in the All-Star game, some guys obviously opt not to pitch or have to pitch, the day before, or they're scheduled to pitch, Friday or whatever it is. So they're not going to pitch the All-Star game. So, that gives guys like David Peterson an opportunity. And it's good to see him finally get the recognition. The past couple of years, he's been awesome. He's turned a corner as a legitimate top 3 rotation type pitcher. So it's good to see him in there.
And so with that being said, like I said, congratulations to the 4 Mets representing us down in Atlanta. But I do want to talk about the big show tonight, one of the best nights in baseball. When speaking about the MLB All-Star game and how good the MLB does in terms of really highlighting the superstars in the game, the MLB Home Run Derby. Really exciting night. We're going to watch it together. We'll have some fun. But on FanDuel, they do a little thing where you get to pick the winner, the longest home run, and the most home runs for the night. So real quick, let's just run through it. We'll give our picks for the 3 categories. So up first, who do you think will win the Home Run Derby?
I like O'Neal Cruz. I know people say his swing is long, but I think when he gets in a game mode like this, he'll make the adjustments, and the guy has like almost accidental power. He gets the ball up in the air and it just takes off. So I'm going to pick O'Neal Cruz to win it.
O'Neal Cruz. James, what about you?
Who I think is going to win? I think James Wood's going to win. Young kid. He's fresh. He's ready to go. He's big swing. I've seen the video of him taking BP, like home run derby style. He was consistently just hitting them out. So I think James Wood's going to win. I'm rooting for Byron Buxton.
I'm gonna go with James Wood as well. I think that his swing plays very well in that ballpark, and I think what we've seen over the last couple of years with the new format of the Home Run Derby, you got to be able to, to get swings as many as you can, and I think James Wood does that. So I'm gonna go Wood. James is going James Wood, and Vinny's going O'Neal Cruz. So that's cool. We'll check that out, later this week after the Derby is up. Longest home run. This is a cool one. Who's going to hit the biggest home run of the night? The moonshot of the night. Who's hitting it?
I think I'm going to take James Wood on this one. I'm going to go James Wood on the longest home run.
Yeah, I like James Wood for that too. Another option, I think Brent Rooker. I'll go Brent Rooker on that. That's a sneaky little option.
I'm going to go Cal Riley, the big dumper. I think he has some major power. I think he's going to put on the show tonight. I don't know how many he's going to hit, but I think he's going to hit some bombs.
Okay, now quick question for you, Lou. Lou, do we see Cal Raleigh pulling Adley Rutschman at some point?
Yeah, 100%.
Switch to righty. Does he switch?
Yeah, he mentioned it tonight that he's going to be doing both.
He's going to switch mid-round?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So he'll take his time out. He'll take his time out, and then he'll go, okay.
And then switch.
That's crazy to think, because you could be in a groove,
Yeah, he mentioned it today on MLB Network. I think
that's dope.
One of the guys asked him, "Are you going to do it?" And he said, "Absolutely."
And shout out to Cal Raleigh for joining Team USA.
Yeah,
big dumper.
This guy Mark DeRosa is putting together a super team.
He really is.
Shout out to Mark DeRosa, really putting together a team that's going to compete in the World Baseball Classic this offseason. So
you know what I can't wait for? Excuse me, for Japan to be up 4-2, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, and Ohtani strikes out Judge with the bases loaded. The guy hasn't gotten a clutch hit since T-ball.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. And then the last topic on the home run derby: who's going to hit the most home runs tonight?
All right, so this pick is going to completely surprise people. It's definitely going to surprise Lou. I'm going to say Jazz
with the most home runs.
Yeah,
single round or the whole thing.
Yeah, because I think
the whole thing.
Yeah, for the whole thing. Well, I don't think Jazz is getting out of the first round, the second round.
Right.
But I think Jazz could be built for the home run derby because he reminds me of like that flair type player that feeds off that enthusiasm, and he'll get his swings in. Jazz is going to swing. So I think Jazz has a chance to hit the most home runs in a round.
He might
the
swing.
only thing James is right. He's going to be rushed against the clock with the new format, and I think that his swing is so long. I don't know how many swings he's going to get off.
He's gonna.
These guys will make the adjustments. I've been hearing this on the radio about the long swings and everything. but they'll make the adjustments. I mean, look, Aaron Judge has a very long swing.
Yeah.
He's been in the home run derbies. Like, there's been guys that we've seen to do it. I think once Jazz gets in a groove, I think he's going to hit a lot out of right field there.
All right, so we got Jazz from
Out,
Vinny.
stop,
For
out.
the most home runs, James, who you got?
Most home runs, I'll go James Wood.
James,
right.
I'm going James Wood as well. Shout
I
out to Mike
love
Bayer.
James Wood.
Shout out to Mike Bayer in the chat. He thinks Brooke is going to hit the most home runs tonight. All right, so that's our home run predictions, guys. Make sure you check out the MLB Home Run Derby. It is taking place tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next thing I wanted to do, Vin, I want to do a rapid fire questions with you guys, and feel free to chime in the chat as well. You can give your answers in the chat, Vin, if you want them on the chat to see if anybody throws any cool names out there. I'm just going to list a couple categories talking about the first half, and just you guys, whatever the first name is that comes to mind, just give me your first name that pops up in your head for each of these categories. So we'll keep it short and sweet. We'll go through the list, and like I said, please feel free to participate in the chat. All right, you guys ready?
Let's do it.
First half of the 2025 MLB All Season. Who has been the best player so far this year? Ben?
I'm going to say Aaron Judge.
James?
First
Been the
name
best
comes to
player
mind,
on the
Aaron.
planet.
Yeah, first name that comes to mind, Aaron Judge.
I'm going to say Aaron Judge as well. Okay. Fan favorite. Who's the fan favorite so far this year?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Fan favorite. I honestly, I think sucks to say, I think I'm going to go PCA.
PCA, James?
I'm going to go Tarek Skubal.
Schoolboy. I'm going Ellie De La Cruz. Breakout star. Who has been the biggest breakout star so far this year?
I'm going to say Jacob Wilson.
Great answer.
I'm going to go with Vin's fan favorite, PCA.
And I'm going to go PCA as well. He's been absolutely amazing this year. A young player that is doing extremely well that could win a future MVP. Not MVP this year. Who could win the future MVP?
Can I say Bobby Witt?
Sure.
Yeah, he has a
I'm
one.
going to say Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt. James?
The first name that comes to mind with me is Junior Caminero.
Junior. And I'm going to go, Vin's going to laugh at me for this one, Corbin Carroll. He's been lights out.
I love Corbin Carroll.
No, there's a reason why you're laughing at me.
Why? Because you said he stinks?
No, because I sold his Bowman Gold oil.
Good job. Next category. Good job.
Biggest surprise. Who's been the biggest surprise so far this year? Negatively or positively? Biggest surprise.
I know he had a good year last year, but I think I got to say Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
Cal, I like that answer.
That was my pick as well. Cal Raleigh. I did not expect almost 40 homers for the All-Star break. That's shocking. That's
across the board, Cal Riley.
Yeah.
Before you ask the next one, Lou, me and James spoke about this, and I just want to go on the record and apologize to James. I was way off about a month ago. James said, "How many home runs do you think he's going to finish with this year?" I think I said 48. He's at 39 right now.
I'm scared of the second half drop off. I hope it would be so cool if he gets 60.
Yeah,
it'd be so cool, but I just don't know if it's gonna happen.
Would that be the most as a catcher?
Yeah, it's
Who's
gotta
the most
be,
as a
right?
catcher? Who hit the most? Did Piazza ever
Piazza, I think the most he had was 42 or something like that.
with the Dodgers?
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I'll get you the answer before the end of the show.
All right, so I think we went Cal across the board for biggest surprise. Now the fun ones. We were talking about most overrated players so far this year. Vin, who did you say?
Rosarena.
Randy Rosarena. James?
I love him, but Julio Rodriguez.
Julio. And I'm going to go most overrated. Got to say Jazz. I mean, his numbers, he's putting up power numbers, but he's hitting home runs. But other than that, he's been a bunch of errors in the field so far this year for the Yankees.
Yeah.
He's struggling defensively, and his average isn't there. And I don't even think his OPS is anything crazy. So I'm going to go Jazz with all the hype that he's getting so far this year. And I love Jazz. You guys know that.
I respect the honesty.
You like Jazz?
But I think he's been struggling the first half this year. And then most underrated player so far this year.
I think this guy's been underrated for about a year and a half now. Hunter Brown, starter on the Astros.
Great answer.
I have it written down right here. Hunter Brown is my answer. I swear to God. He's been filthy this year, and nobody's given him any recognition. So Hunter Brown.
That's a great answer.
I can give you another one if you want, James, if you want Hunter Brown.
Go for it. No, it doesn't matter, but if you have another one, say it.
Suzuki.
Say it, Suzuki. That's a great answer.
Suzuki.
Great answer. Yep.
He leads the league in RBIs.
Yeah, great answer.
Yeah, that's a good one. Most underrated. I honestly didn't think about this one. I do like Mike's answer in the chat.
Is Suzuki not an all-star?
You know who I'm going?
Not.
Because everybody counted him out, and I know he's not having a monster season, but he's been consistent. I'm going Mike Trout. I feel like Trout's back. He has 16 home runs. Everybody seems to write him off all the time. I'm gonna go Trout.
And the Angels aren't playing horrible either.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're not. They're around, playoff contention. So I'm gonna go Trout. That's my guy.
He has another teammate who I think is also underrated, and that's Zach Neto.
Oh, I
And
thought you were gonna say my guy,
and Mike
No.
said Joe Adell.
Joe
Kikuchi.
Adell. That's a good answer.
And Mike said Joe Adell.
Joe Adell's a good answer. Kikuchi's another one who's underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they make a couple moves, listen, I think they're far away from being true contenders.
Mhm.
But if they make a couple of moves, maybe they can make some noise in the second half.
Make
Yeah.
the move and give us Kikuchi. Do the right thing, Ellie.
Yeah, we'll give you all the prospects you want. You know what? Throw Mike Trout in there. We can move Nimble back to center and put Trout in left. All right, so those are our first half wrap up, guys. It's been an awesome first half to see. Like I said, ending the first half in second place with a record of 55-42. Really good first half. A couple of injuries, in the first half that really, stunted what we wanted to see moving forward with the pitching rotation. Two major injuries in the bullpen that we'll touch upon quickly, with both Kranick and Nunez having Tommy John surgery. They're both going to be out for the season. That's a really big blow to the bullpen. So, we're definitely going to have to make some moves there. We'll touch upon the trade deadline next episode. But one thing I have to talk about before we end, we have to talk about Francisco Lindor and his milestone of reaching 200 plus home runs, 200 plus stolen bases, only the third shortstop in the history of Major League Baseball to do so. Just a really, really cool moment for Francisco. Once again, another step towards that Hall of Fame career that, if healthy, when healthy, hopefully is healthy, he will be walking into Cooperstown as a Met. So that'll be really cool to see. So just if you guys want to give a quick comment on that achievement for Lindor.
I mean, he's been unbelievable. He struggled his first year here, but what else could we say about the guy at this point? He's been the captain. He's the face of the franchise. And like we spoke about it earlier in the year, Lou, got nothing but good things to say about him. And this is a guy that easily could have wanted out of New York after the first year, and he's taken over the team, and he's the guy that every team should want to represent their organization.
Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a leader. He's a straight up leader. He leads by, his play on the field. He leads by his voice. He's truly a captain in every sense of the way. Just hopefully, we officially name him that soon. That's really what's all it's missing. Yeah, you can't really ask for much more. We go as he goes. I've said it ever since, we've seen what happened last year. He goes, talk about underrated. I think he's definitely one of the most underrated shortstops in the history of the game, in my opinion. So he's been great. Finally named an all-star, and hopefully he leads us to where we want to go. And that's, a parade in November.
Yeah, let's hope.
And I do want to say, like we mentioned it before, his first all-star appearance with the Mets. It is pretty cool, and it is pretty satisfying that his first one, he gets to start in the all-star game in Atlanta. So they have to watch him. How many times do we have to watch their starters?
Well, especially over the last couple of years I think 1 year as a Brave, Swanson won it over him, and then the next year he was a coach, Swanson won it over him.
Arcia won it over him 1 year.
Arcia, right.
Like what?
Yeah.
And then they put in Perdomo from the Diamondbacks for the replacement.
Over him. Yep.
So stupid.
Yeah, so shout out to Lindor, shout out to the captain, just a really cool moment for him. And then the very last thing we'll talk about, we're kind of getting to the end of the episode. Last night, we were introduced to the future of the Mets with the MLB rookie draft happening last night. The Mets drafted 38th overall Mitch Voigt from Michigan. And then at 102nd, they drafted Antonio Jimenez from UCF down in Florida. James, did you want to touch on them real quick?
But from Michigan looks good. He's a big kid. We drafted him as a two-way player, but he's already said in an interview that his primary focus is going to be developing as a position player. He played primary second base at Michigan, but he can play all around the diamond. He's just a guy. He had 72 hits, 14 homers, 60 RBI. I think he hit. Let me see. It says he hit 346 with an 1140 OPS at the D1 level. So that's a premier university in Michigan. So, just we got what we got. No first round pick, obviously no early first round pick due to the penalty. But for Mitch Voigt to be there at 38, from what we've seen from him, and it's good value. And we've seen from these college guys that they're quick rises. We're seeing right now with Benj. We drafted Benj last year, and he's already on his way. Rising quickly. So
I think Voigt was also first team All Big Ten, right?
Yeah, that's another thing. Yes, so. Looks like we got a good player. Obviously, there's a viral meme going around with him from earlier this season. So he's that guy. Everybody knows who he is because of that meme, which is pretty good already. So Looking forward to see how he develops within the next year or two.
Right. And then Jimenez, a 6'1" shortstop from UCF, drafted, like I said, 102nd in the third round. They said he has every ability to stay there as he goes through the ranks with a 60 arm tool, which is really cool to see. So he definitely has the defensive ability. And they said defense is his strength. The bat isn't there yet, but they said with work and obviously with time, the bat could get there. Big time power, not so much of a high average guy, but his defense really stands out. So really cool to see the Mets adding a couple future, hopefully future players for us with the MLB draft. And we're looking forward to this weekend. All-Star Week is really fun. And that is the halfway point. So next episode, guys.
I do want to do one shout out. It's what are we at? Monday, July 14th. This is going to be our last episode before David Wright's retirement of his number.
Yes,
we didn't.
of
Okay,
course.
so we got time. Yeah. I
So,
forgot about that. Yep.
Guys, if you are watching this episode, we have 5 days before we retire the captain's number. The three of us will be there. This is a guy that
will be episode 17 from the David retirement number.
Yes. This is a guy that James was a little younger at the time, but Lou, we watched him come up
From
from
beginning
beginning
to
to end, and it's cool to see. Not many Mets fans could say that about anybody in this organization.
Yep.
So it's a great accomplishment. And David Wright, he to me is the Lindor before Lindor. Represents an organization in every positive way possible, the face of the team. And congratulations to David Wright on getting his number retired.
And I think that's going to be something that everybody, like the buzz around the stadium is going to be that day.
Gonna be
Is
amazing.
David going to announce Lindor as the captain? Like we said in one of our previous episodes, Cohen knows what he's doing. Like Cohen knows that this is a big moment for the franchise, and everybody wants this to happen. I think David and Lindor are very close off the field. I think it'll be a perfect way to transition into the next era of Mets baseball. And what a guy to do it. Speaking
And I think
of,
David's all about that.
hold on, I just want to give a shout out because Antonio Jimenez
Wow.
just stopped in the live. Mets third round draft pick, drafted 102nd overall. So shout out to Antonio. Thanks
Shout
for
out
stopping
Antonio,
by.
man.
We appreciate you. Congratulations on being drafted. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the family. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the future, represent the orange and blue in Queens. So once again, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you. And guys, did you want to give a shout out while he's in here?
Yeah, shout out Antonio, man. Congratulations on last night's huge
Best of luck.
accomplishment. We're looking forward to seeing your development, man.
All
So
the
yeah,
best.
that's really cool.
Success.
That's cool. He just stopped by. But so we are going to be filming episode 17 live from Citi Field. Vin, James, and I will be at Citi Field for the David Wright retirement game. We will have our setup going. We'll be recording and interacting with you guys, the fans at Citi Field. So if you see us walking around, if you want to be a part of the episode, absolutely, we'll ask you a couple of questions to get you on the podcast, and we're looking forward to it. And I think that is going to wrap episode 16 of the Shea Less podcast. Once again, guys, please give this video a big thumbs up on YouTube. Continue to support the page any way you can, both on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and then yeah, we appreciate it. James, thank you so much for stopping by.
Of course, thank
You're always welcome. James, your brother so much, maybe not so much.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. He might stir the pot a little bit. You got to be careful there.
But guys, that is a wrap for episode 16. We'll see you guys next time from the Shea Less podcast.